Hello fellow viewers, it's me, Blade the Comic Nerd here, and today, it's another review. Today, I'm reviewing a Steven Universe episode known as Steven's Dream. Let me tell you guys this. Steven Universe is one of my favorite shows right now currently. I have reviewed certain episodes, but they got copyrighted, but in general, I really do love this show, and I can't wait to review it for you guys. I really can't wait. Now today, I'm going to review, one of the Greg Kidnapped arc series, Steven's Dream. The first episode of the Greg Getting Kidnapped arc. Yeah, I'm gonna review the whole arc, so don't worry. But I want to review this episode first, since in continuation to be in order. But the intro you saw, the Steven Universe intro you saw in the beginning, is created by the dude in the link below. And if you're watching this, thank you for letting me use your intro, because that's one of the best fan intros I've ever seen, and it looks like it's from the actual show. But thank you for letting me use it. So, yeah, I can't wait to review this episode. I really do like the plot twist in this episode where, spoilers, Greg gets kidnapped, which I already said. But I can't wait to just talk to you guys how I felt about the episode, because it's a review. Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, now let's get right into the episode. So, yeah, like I said in the intro, we're talking about Steven's Dream, which is the beginning of Greg's kidnapping arc. Now, I already said I did like this episode. There were some problems in it, but in general, I really did like the episode. How Steven was more maturing and actually fought back questions of the gems and actually questioned their authority. The gems, not the diamonds. He was questioning why they always lied to him and they never told him the truth, which I actually really did like that because they didn't tell him the truth a lot. And I'm finally proud that Steven stood up and asked questions. And in this episode, Steven has a dream about Pink Diamond's palanquin. And, well, yeah. So, Connie brings Buddy's book and his journal and finds out the palanquin is in the book. And they ask questions to the gems. And the gems start to get uncomfortable. Especially Pearl. Since I bet Pearl has something to do with it a lot. Wink, wink, hint, hint. I do have a question about Steven's dream. How is he able to see through Blue Diamond's eyes? And how is he able to cry her tears? They must have a very close connection, especially word quotes in Blue Diamond. Because it seems like he has a really good connection with her. He can see her dreams and cry her own tears. He can feel her sorrow, basically. Well, he's not really sad. He's just having her tears, and he can see what she's seeing. So, I'm basically confused. And why is he now seeing this? Did Rose Quartz have a connection with Blue Diamond? I'm pretty sure she did. I don't want to know what it is. Were they friends, allies, something? I want to know what this is. Because this is something that's really interests me. I want to see their connection they had. If she's able to see their dreams. Now, it could be the mind control thing, like he did with his pumpkin. The watermelon people. And you could see what they were seeing. Maybe that's the exact same thing that's happening. But he's able to cry her tears too. So, Blue Diamond must have a connection to Rose Quartz. And I want to see what that is. I hope they reveal it. I hope they explain this. Because if they don't, I'll be really frustrated. I finally like how Steven actually stands up to what the gems say. And how they try to cover it up. I'm really proud of Steven for manning up, not really manning up, but asking for the truth. Because the gems have not told him everything about the gems and what they've done. And now he's finding all this out by himself. And this arc gets more amazing if I go through the rest of the episodes. But I really did like how Steven wanted to know the truth. He's always wanted to know the truth, but they always seem to cover it up. There's a lot of more fishy stuff going around here. And I finally like how Steven's poking his head through. Because they always just, okay, what they said. Because the crystal gems aren't perfect. They try to do good, but they're not perfect. They really aren't. And as you can tell, Pearl and Garnet were obviously distressed about this. Amethyst doesn't know what the palanquin is, but Garnet and Pearl obviously know what it is. So they obviously know what happened. Maybe this is related to Rose Quartz. We don't know. It probably is. Maybe because of Pink Diamond shattered Rose Quartz. Has something to do with the war. But they are obviously distressed. And this is like the second time we've seen Garnet mad. And the last time she was really mad, but this time she was obviously trying to cool it down a little. And Pearl obviously had a little breakdown, since she must see with her own eyes what happened, or just what was going on. I'm sorry, this review is just crazy, but yeah. Now, it is true that Steven asks his dad, Greg, about questions about Rose Quartz and the dream, but Greg didn't know a lot about the gem, and personally, he doesn't want to get involved. Because when Rose left, that obviously must have distraught Greg and made him more of a sad person. Well, Greg really isn't sad, or they really haven't shown if he was really that sad, but more just mentally distraught that his wife's gone, or whatever. But Greg obviously didn't know, because he didn't pressure Rose about what happened, her past life and everything. And that's actually really sweet. And I really did like that, and it does make sense, because Greg is a nice guy, and he doesn't really know a lot about the gems. He knows who they are, but he doesn't know about the diamonds and stuff like that. He knows a couple stuff, but not everything. So, yeah. So, after Steven fusses about the gems, about the secrets they've been keeping from him and Garnet have a little talk about her. And when I mean by her, I mean Blue Diamond. And Garnet is scared, and she said it herself. So, there's something I didn't like about this episode, and really just the gems really not caring for Steven. Because when Steven tries to find trouble, everything, they at least try to go with him. And, I mean, they show up in the beginning and the end of this episode, but they're not really shown or really helping Steven. And that's something I really didn't like about this episode. Since you're supposed to keep him safe when you're trying to find a giant blue lady, and you guys just don't care. I understand that Greg's with them, but Greg's not a gem. He could probably punch somebody, but I'm pretty sure not a giant blue lady. Yeah. So, yeah. So, after him and Garnet have that little talk, he goes to Greg, and, he wants to go somewhere. He wants to find out the secret, and that's something I did like about the episode, that Steven is trying to do it by himself, but even though the gems are not really trying to help him, was something I didn't like about this episode. But Steven's trying to do it himself, with Greg at least, and I did appreciate that. Steven's being a lone wolf this time. No one's gonna help him. So, yeah. Oh. And I really did like that. So after that, they're going to Japan, and guess who's driving them? Uncle Andy. And I'm very surprised he made a little cameo in this episode. I'm surprised he showed up again. I did like how he was helping them. So yeah, like I said, they're in Japan. There's some cute scenes, and there's even a little cute Easter egg where it's showing a Korean artist making sketches of Steven, his dad, and Pearl and Connie. If you look to the far right, you can see a little picture of Connie. And if you look all to the left, you can see pictures of Steven and Pearl from Mr. Greg, and a picture of Greg wearing the red shirt. This is actually a really cool cameo, and there's some theories built after this cameo. What do I think? This is just an Easter egg. This is not a theory. I'm just saying this is a cameo. I don't really think this should be a theory. But yeah, I really did like this cameo, and it's really funny. So yeah. So after that, Steven goes to look for the Palin King. He does a couple stuff and just trying to look for it. And Steven's still crying, so I still want to know the connection. And Greg is obviously distraught that his son is kind of excited, but also crying about it. Now, I do feel what Greg feels like. I do know how Greg feels like. He's obviously not comfortable dealing with gem problems, because he just doesn't want to get in. He doesn't want to get involved in just gem problems in general. He's not that type of guy who wants to get involved in that. And I really do like how they show that he's not really comfortable being near gems after what happened to Rose. So they find the Palin King, but it's blue diamonds. It's not broken down pink diamonds one. So that means that blue diamond's somewhere, and she's close. So yeah. So they look around, and guess who they find? Now we see a mysterious figure grieving over Pink Diamond's Palin King. And you guys already know who it is. You watched the episode. It's Blue Diamond. And I guess Pink Diamond and Blue Diamond, I guess, have a very special connection since she's really grieving over her. And I'm pretty sure that them two had just a very special connection with each other. Them two in general may have been, I don't know, are they sisters or something? I'm just saying that them two must have had a really big connection to each other. So while Steven and Greg are watching, Blue Pearl looks around and Greg decides to distract her by showing himself to them. And obviously, it's a pretty cringy moment in general. And Greg looks pretty cringy. Just look. It's pretty cringy. Now, this scene right here is probably one of the best parts of the episode. Blue Diamond and Greg have just a talk about grieving. They've both felt lost, and both of them just talk to each other about what they lost. Now, if Blue Diamond knew what if it's about Rose Quartz, I'm pretty sure Blue Diamond would have lost it. But I'm glad they didn't bring up Rose Quartz or who they actually were grieving over. And I'm pretty sure Greg didn't know that Rose shattered Pink Diamond. So both of them didn't know, well, who both of them were talking about. They both were grieving over someone who was lost a while ago, which I guess Pink Diamond was lost a while ago since Rose is not here anymore. And this moment in general is really sweet, how a Gemini human just talk and they felt the same connection. Just a normal human and a gem. And this scene is amazing. And I really do. This scene is just really sweet. It really is. So after that, Blue Diamond kidnaps Greg in the memory of Pink Diamond, which this is the big shocker to the arc. Now this is the main reason the arc is happening. Because Blue Diamond kidnapped Greg, and this is the big spoiler. Now this scene was just out of nowhere. She takes Greg, spawns her ship, not spawn, but calls it. The Palanquin goes to inside the ship, and everything just goes crazy. And this scene is awesome. It really is. So after that, Steven uses his flying powers to try to get Blue Diamond's arm ship. And the arm goes to some sort of hyperdrive and does this weird animation right here, as you can tell. And he's not able to save it, and he floats or falls back to the ground. And guess who saves him? It's Garnet. She is somehow made to Japan by walking, or how did she get to Japan? How did she get to Japan? Someone explain that to me. How did she get to Japan? Is she the Flash or something? Was she stalking them? Was she under Mr. Andy's ship? I mean, freaking plane? Was she under the plane? I bet you she was under the plane. She was under Uncle Andy's plane. I bet you. That's a big plot hole. They never explained that. Where's the rest of the gems at? They just let Garnet leave? Like, come on now. And she obviously said that she saw Blue Diamond. Did she have these dreams too? Well, when I mean that she saw it, I think that means that she saw this happening, which she didn't do anything about until Greg got kidnapped. Yeah. So after that, Steven tells him what happens, and Garnet says, "We're not gonna leave Greg. We're going to space." And that's one of the big parts of the arc. They're going to space. Again. And it's going to be less depressing this time. So, yeah. So, in general, I really did like this episode. There were some plot holes, and I felt like this review was alright. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I, in general, did like the episode. It was really fun and exciting to me. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and just thank you. I'm going to do the rest of the arc later, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Steven Universe shirt. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.